We're seeing that AI is changing the journey from product discovery to purchase. There are seismic shifts taking place for marketers right now where the commerce journey is really exploding. Consumers are engaging with brands across an increasing array of channels. And AI is really accelerating the collapse of the funnel from that moment of discovery to the moment of purchase. Then you layer agentic on top of that, and that's a real game changer. We just ran a survey where we found that 33% of respondents indicated that they would be comfortable letting an agent spend up to $1,000 on their behalf without prior approval. So we're really seeing this shift taking place for consumers. I think the biggest opportunity is really the shift from predictive insights to being able to respond in real time to the signals with kind of relevant and measurable content. I think the ability to respond, combining AI with insights from consumer behavior is really going to be kind of this powerful unlock that's going to drive success for brands in this context.
Nili, everyone's talking about agentic commerce. What will consumers actually notice first about that?
I think what consumers are also going to notice is when that consumer experience is not stitched up. Imagine a consumer who delegates an agent to buy a blue sweater for them, and instead the agent buys a red sweater, and that sweater is on final sale. As agents start to make recommendations and make purchases on consumers' behalf, trust becomes so critical to that equation. It's why Mastercard's verifiable intent and agent pay, the technology and the governance frameworks that we're bringing to market becomes so important for building that foundation of trust and ensuring that consumers and really everyone in the ecosystem know that we have their back regardless of whether there was an agent or a human behind that purchase decision.
So Nili, with that AI personalization context that you just talked about, how do you balance convenience with trust? Are those opposing forces, or are they able to be merged?
You can't have personalization without trust. Trust is the foundation of any consumer relationship. It really needs to be built into that experience from the start. And at Mastercard, it's the start and it's the end of everything that we do. There's another dimension, which is the personalization. Consumers increasingly want experiences that are relevant, that are convenient, personalized for them. I think that comes down to value, right? There needing to be an exchange of value for the consumer. It needs to be helpful. It needs to be useful for them ultimately to, have that right and that personalized experience. There was a 2024 Deloitte study that found that up to 80% of consumers wanted personalized experiences from brands and indicated that they would be willing to spend up to 50% more when brands provided those experiences. So it's why we think about AI and convenience and privacy and consumer choice all together, because you can't have one without the other. Commerce media, right, I think is important here too, because it plays a role in that it brings all of those different dimensions together. It's rooted in, a trusted ecosystem. It's a trusted insights that then power relevant experiences that are also valuable for the consumer and everyone in the ecosystem.
Well, Nili, could you elaborate a little bit more about what role commerce media will play as AI becomes the new front door to shopping? Let's talk about that front door a little bit more.
AI may become the new front door to shopping, but brands still contend with the same questions that they contend with across any other environment. Who is this consumer? How do I best reach them? What's the right message? Where is the consumer in the buying life cycle? Are they just doing research, right? Or are they actually closer to making that product decision? And I think that's where commerce media really is an essential service, because it helps provide insight that's rooted in real outcomes to be able to help drive, relevant and contextual messages for the consumer, messages that the consumer, is likelier to respond to because the signals have been informed and sharpened by the purchase outcomes themselves. And so when we think about commerce media, it's really a critical tool in the marketer's toolkit to be able to meet consumers where they are and provide those personalized, relevant, and measurable experiences wherever the consumer is.
Nili, I don't want to leave out the human element of the question of what it means for brands and consumers in an AI-powered retail world. What is it that remains uniquely human in this arena, and why will that matter even more? Obviously, I'm biased as a human, but I'll let you tell me in a wider context.
AI ultimately may help us automate tasks, optimize decisions, but the most important part of commerce remains deeply human. It's the trust, it's the creativity, it's the connection. It's why the human in the loop is so important, especially when we talk about brand building, because you still need the human to be able to apply the empathy, the judgment, to understand what motivates a consumer to create that authentic connection with the consumer. So I don't think the future is man versus the machine. I think this is about how do we use AI to work smarter so that we can focus on creating those connections and those experiences that are valuable to consumers in those moments that matter most.